We're beginning to center ourselves and slow our breathing down. Tone the back of your throat slightly, creating an audible quality to your breath. Almost like you're sighing with your mouth closed. And try to do it on your inhale as well. Your Ujjayi breath helps to slow the speed at which you draw your breath in. It allows you to really oxygenate your blood with each breath, taking it into every cell, every part of your body. And for a moment, can you visualize this? I'm going to come to a seated position with you, so we can just tap into that relaxation for a moment. So move your glutes from your sitting bones if you're not already. And this class is going to be focused on inner strength. With your breath, you will see that when you breathe, everything changes. So change your breath and you'll change your body, your attitude, and the way something feels. So today, when things get tough, can you breathe? Can you breathe into the hard, tight places, the places where you might feel weak or struggle some? Just find your breath and find how your breath adds lightness to your body, how it adds strength to your being. Feel it in your body now. To tap into our inner strength, we're really going to tap into our core today. And I want you to start tapping into your core now, sitting here in this position. Without clenching, can you just activate your core, drawing your belly button to your spine slightly, creating a slight engagement that strengthens and straightens your lower back. Can you draw that energy up through your rib cage and imagine almost a wrapping sensation, like you're wrapping and hugging yourself from the inside. Feel your abs almost hugging your rib cage without actually putting too much effort into it. You're not clenching or forcing anything. So give your rib cage a hug. Feel how that straightens your back. Inhale your shoulders up to your ears. Give them a squeeze. And exhale. Bring them behind you, your shoulder blades together, and then relax them. Just breathe here for a moment. The warm-ups portion of this class I will be guiding you through a sun salutation. So I'm going to teach you each part of a sun salutation. We're going to go through it really slowly. Normally, we link the breath with the movement, and we're still going to link the breath with the movement. But if I stop to pause and explain something, don't hold your breath, keep breathing, and then we can continue. We will link the breath with the movement. So come onto your knees, your hands on your knees in a tabletop position. Your toes are curled under, and just begin to paw your hands into your mat. Make sure you're really suction cupping your fingers into the mat, which helps to plug in your index finger mound and root through the four corners of your hands. Your fingers are spread wide. Your wrist creases are parallel to the front of your mat. So your fingers are facing forward, your wrists are forward. And make sure the inner lining of your hands comes to about the outer edge of your shoulder. So they're a little wider than shoulder width apart. That gives you your stability and your strength. And just paw your hands into the mat. You can also paw your toes into the mat at the same time, feeling the stretch at the back of your feet, the stability that you actually have in your toes, working on that flexibility. And you're going to inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze, lift your sitting bones. This is your cow pose. And exhale, curve your back, tuck your tailbone, look to your knees. This is your cat position. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze and sitting bones. Cow pose, and exhale, back to cat pose. Curve your spine, press into your shoulders. Inhale, drop your belly, continue to pulse through cow and cat pose. Exhale to cat, always linking your breath with the movement. This is warming up the spine. We begin to slow our breath and link our breath to our movement. Remember, your breath should have an audible quality to it. Come to a neutral spine. Press up and back into downward facing dog. And just with bent knees, begin to walk your feet slowly up to your hands. Forward fold. Hinging at the hips, let your torso hang, let your head hang, your arms hang. You can grab your elbows, maybe sway your torso side to side slightly. Nod your head, yes. Shake your head, no. Being gentle. Inhale, bring your hands to your shins, shoulders onto your back, halfway lift. Head, gaze looks down, and exhale, forward fold. Let yourself hang. Inhale, root yourself to rise. Bring your arms above your head. And exhale, draw your hands through heart center and alongside your hips. So we're going to just get into our mountain pose. Bring your feet right under your hip bones, not to the edges of your hips, so they're not too wide. They're right underneath your hip bones, which should be at the front of your hips here. They're parallel to one another, pointing directly straight in number 11, so they're not pointing a little bit outwards or inwards. Really make sure they're parallel. And just pedal your feet out for a second. Lift your toes, rock on your feet. Find the four corners of your feet. Really find your foundation and root into it. Always maintain softness in your knees, so we never hyperextend our knees back like this. Our knees are always soft. My legs are still straight. Sometimes if you need to, you can add more of a bend to your knees to give yourself some more support or ability to fold or whatever it is, but always maintaining a slight bend in your knee and strength to hold it in that place, so that if you do end up leaning on your legs, you don't pop your knee back. You always have strength. So root into the strength of your feet, root into the strength of your knees. Draw that energy up through your hips. That includes slightly tucking your tailbone so that our backs are not curved. We have our tailbone slightly tucked, and that automatically makes you want to draw your belly button in. That way we're not dumping forward into our stomachs, curving our backs. We draw in, suck into our belly buttons just slightly. Not like we're sucking in, but just slightly creating an engagement through our core. Wrap your torso. Grow along through the sides of your body. Bring your shoulders up and back and let your palms fall open to the sides of the room. Feel your shoulders onto your back. Imagine that the nape of your neck, the part where the top of your neck meets your skull, has a magnet. And draw that magnet to the back of the room. This might create a slight tuck in the chin, nothing to where you feel uncomfortable, but that just prevents our heads from jetting forward, which puts strain on our shoulders and our necks. This is mountain pose, your perfect posture. Feel into this, feel into the strength. And for a moment, can you visualize the core of the earth? So fiery, white hot. The earth is like a cell that is kept alive by its core, and all the processes that are driven on the surface are kept alive by the sun and our position in space, in the solar system. Can you, through your feet, draw the energy from Mother Earth up through the core? Feel her strength absorbed into your feet, almost as if you have roots rooting into the earth. Imagine that bright golden white light pulling in through your feet, up through your legs. Use your breath to meet it partway. Use your breath to continue drawing it up your body to the crown of your head eventually. Feel that energy radiating through your arms and in your hands. Maybe wiggle your fingers a little bit. See if you notice any energy in your palms. Can you feel the air? Any warmth, any tingling, maybe a pulling or a cold sensation? We have access to the power of the universe at our fingertips. We are made of it, and we can draw from it at any time. Imagine from the crown of your head a string drawing you up to the universe and beyond. And imagine that string pulling you through your crown of your head, through your spine, and lifting you and elevating you. Can you imagine a portal for that beam of light that we drew in? Also have a portal at the crown of your head where you draw energy in from the universe and beyond. And with your breath, take a moment to feel that energy that runs through your nervous system, through every cell of your body, through every molecule and atom and particle. We're all made of stardust, as cheesy as it sounds. We're all made of the same thing. Inhale. We're going to do our sun salutation. Reach your arms up overhead. Bring your palms together and exhale, forward fold. You can bend your knees, hinge at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring your shoulders onto your back. Your neck, magnetize the back of your neck, and exhale, forward fold. Walk your hands out into a high plank position, or walk your feet back if you're at the top of your mat. And you can drop your knees here if you need to, or you can stay into a high plank. We're going to exhale, tuck our elbows into our body and lower down. Maintain strength in your core. Untuck your toes. Now I'm going to just reposition my camera so you can see me. So in the high plank position, or from your knees, you can stay where you are and just breathe for a moment. You're going to make sure your elbows are not splaying out to the sides of the room. They're tucked to the sides of your body, and you lower down. That's on an exhale. And try to see if you can lower as much as you can. Untuck your toes. Your palms are rooted into the mat. So your palms are alongside you like this, probably about at your armpit level, right along your shoulders, underneath your shoulders. Root into the four corners of your hands and press up. Your toes are untucked. You can just do a slight cobra pose. That's on an inhale. So just inhale and try that. Exhale, you can melt down. And when we press up into our cobra, our elbows are tucked in, so they're not splaying out to the sides. So you can try that again. Inhale to cobra. Slight back bend, activating, and exhale, melt. Activating your back muscles here. Your core isn't just the front of your back, it's also the back of your back. So if you want a little bit more of a back bend, we can also do upward facing dog instead of cobra. So pressing into the tops of your feet, pressing into your hands, lift up, straightening your arms, and lifting the body off of the mat. So your thighs will come off of the mat. You can come onto your knees. You don't need to hold that. But I'm just demonstrating for a moment, so you can give that a try. From on the ground, pressing up into a upward facing dog instead of a cobra. You inhale and lift. Gazes forward, shoulders back, and exhale. Roll over your toes or curl your toes under and push up and back into downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet for a breath, and you can either walk or hop to your hands, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulders onto your back, magnetize the back of your neck to the ceiling, and exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees slightly. Inhale, reach up, arms overhead, and exhale, palms through heart center and alongside your hips. So, we're gonna give that a try again. I'm gonna scoot my mat back a little bit so you can see me better. So inhale, you start from your mountain pose, either at the top of your mat. I'm at the back so you can see me a little bit better. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead, and exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Walk your hands to a high plank or walk your feet back to a high plank position. You can drop your knees if you need to. Tuck your elbows, exhale, lower down. Untuck your toes, press into your hands. Inhale, come up, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, press into your hands and curl over your toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, step or hop to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to shins, shoulders on your back, halfway lift. Neck to the ceiling, and exhale, fold. Inhale, bend at the knees, sweep your arms overhead and palms together. Exhale, through heart center, forward fold. Oh, sorry, no forward fold, just stand in mountain pose for a moment. So just breathe here in mountain pose. You might be breathing a little heavier, your heart rate might be up a little bit. Maybe you had a little bit of issues linking your movement to your breath. That is okay. This is your first time doing a sun salutation, so go easy on yourself. Breathe here for a moment. Just feel into your foundation of your feet. Make sure they're in number 11s underneath you. That you're tucking your tailbone and rooting through your core. Did you notice where you needed to use your core in that sun salutation? Perhaps when you were lowering down through chaturanga, perhaps when you were pressing up, maybe even in downward dog, and also in your halfway lift, when you had to lift halfway. There's a little bit of core activation and engagement there as well. So we're going to try that one more time. And this time I really want you to focus on where you feel activated in your core. So feet in number 11s, feel them underneath your hips. Root into the four corners of your feet, maybe lift your toes, feel your arches lift. You can let your toes fall, but maintain that activation in the arches of your feet. You can even leave your toes lifted if you want to challenge yourself and strengthen your feet. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead, and exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Walk yourself into a high plank position. You can drop your knees if you need to. Elbows tuck in and exhale, lower down. Untuck your toes. Inhale and press into a little back bend. Gaze looks forward. Exhale, lower down. Curl your toes under and press up and into a downward facing dog. Breathe here for a moment. Pedal out your feet. Feel your inner strength. Activate your core. And maybe almost tuck your belly in a little bit, like you're scooping your belly into a little bowl. Press into your shoulders and bring your ears even more in between your arms. Pedaling out through your feet. If downward dog is too hard for you, then I really encourage you to find a wall around you and do a downward facing dog on a wall until you gain strength in your hands and your wrists. This is an alternative to downward facing dog. Just finding a wall near you and plugging in like this, making sure that we're never kind of up here. We always send our ears between our arms and press into our hands, really engaging our shoulders onto our back. And you can even do that on a wall, so don't feel any shame if it pains you to be in downward dog. We're going to drop our knees to the width of our mats and sit your sitting bones back towards your heels. Melt your heart towards the earth. Your big toes should be together. And let your arms come out in front of you as you melt. This is your child's pose. And breathe here. Tap into your Ujjayi breath. Really inflate your core. Feel it stretch with your breath. Maybe massage any tight places with your breath. Can you imagine that you can massage yourself from the inside out just by breathing? You can extend your arms out even a little bit further in front of you and allow your heart and forehead to melt to the earth just that much more. When you're ready, you can come into a tabletop position. And then lower down onto your belly. Untuck your toes. Create a pillow for your forehead. Bend your knees. And just windshield wiper your feet from side to side. Maybe one side is a little looser than the other. Maybe you go down a little further. And just acknowledge it. Don't judge it. There's nothing wrong. Just notice any imbalances with an intention and a desire to correct it through your strength and through a nurturing allowance of what is to then be changed. Come into stillness. You can drop your feet. Your toes are untucked. Bring your elbows underneath your shoulders and point your fingers towards the front of the room. Bring your shoulders onto your back, which activates the muscles in your mid-back, almost drawing in isometrically and opening your heart up to the front of the room. Magnetize the back of your head and that part of your neck to the back of the room as your gaze looks forward. Always remembering your breath. Can you breathe here? This is your Sphinx pose. Root in through your hands as much as you can. Draw up and back. Activating your core. One more breath. Know that you are so strong. Exhale, melt forward. You can rest your head on your hands as a pillow and just sweep your legs once again side to side like windshield wipers. Breathe. You can rest your feet for a moment. Bring your hands alongside your hips and activate your back muscles while lifting your feet slightly. Reach towards your toes. This is your locust pose. This is a back strengthening pose. This is your core. This is for your posture. Your heart is shining forward. Your shoulders are on your back and your gaze is looking forward. Feel the strength of your back. Root from your pelvis. And always remember your breath. We're not clenching here. We're engaging. We're reaching. Breathe. You are so strong and you are so capable. Exhale, melt, and rest your head on your hands. You can windshield wiper your feet side to side. Remember your breath. Wow, guys, that was awesome. We're gonna come to stand, so you can come to a tabletop position and just come onto one knee and push yourself up. I'm gonna have a little sip of water. Never a large sip, so we don't get any cramps or anything. And just come into mountain pose. Once again, squaring your feet underneath your hips. Root in from the earth. Draw yourself up and back. Palms come out as your shoulders come onto your back and open your heart up. Magnetize the back of your neck to the wall behind you and breathe. Begin to sit your hips back as you lift your arms up, palms towards each other, and sit back. Maybe your weight comes into your heels a little bit. This is your chair pose. Feel the strength along your back. Remember a slight tuck of your tailbone so we're not curving our backs too much. We have a slight tuck and an engagement through our core. Without clenching, see if you can lower. Find your strength. Bring your shoulders onto your back just a little bit more. Breathe. Toning at the back of the throat. Almost sighing. Even on your inhale, can you draw in your breath deeply? Inhale, root to rise. Palms together, exhale, hands through heart center and alongside your arms. I'm just going to put the music down a little bit. Okay. So we're going to go straight into a squat. So you can turn to face the long edge of your mat here. And bring your feet wider than hip width apart. You can have something around you for balance, maybe some blocks in front of you, a sofa, a dresser, whatever you need to hold on to in case you need some balance. Point your toes at a 45-degree angle towards the corners of your mat. Tuck your tailbone, root to rise from the four corners of your feet. Activate your core. Shoulders onto your back. Bring your palms together at heart center and really press into your hands. And at the same time, press into your shoulder blades onto your back. So really feel the strength in your arms. We're not over-engaging here, but we're really activating our strength. Wrap the muscles in your core around your center like a tree trunk. And exhale with your knees wide, begin to lower down. See if you can begin to lower to the point where you can rest your elbows on your knees. And I know this is a hard one, guys, but just give yourself a chance to impress yourself and to grow in an area where you never thought you could. Root your tailbone down. This is a hard one for me too. Press your elbows into your knees. Press your hands together. Your shoulders onto your back. Your core is so strong. Bring the back of your neck back and let your sitting bones drop as much as you can while maintaining strength in your legs. You're gonna feel a big stretch in your hips here, and that's okay. There's probably a lot going on. Breathe into it. Don't run from it. See if you can smile here. Challenge yourself. You can press your hands into the ground and use the strength in your hands to press your sitting bones up and back. Bring your toes in just a little bit of inside of your heels. Maintain a micro bend in your knee and melt your torso forward. Breathe. See if you can magnetize the backs of your thighs to the wall behind you just a little bit more, helping your torso melt towards the earth just that little bit more. And even without putting weight in your hands, can you still draw the energy from the core of the earth up through your feet, through your hands, through your tailbone, your hips, your stomach, your heart, your shoulders and throat. Halfway lift on an inhale and bring your shoulders onto your back. Exhale, forward fold, bend at your knees. You can put your hands on your hips and lift to stand. Wow, you guys are doing amazing. This is a tough class. You're doing awesome. So bring your heels in just a little bit, pointing your toes to the corners of your mat. Make sure your knees are not hyperextended backwards, which means you have strength in your knees, even if your legs are straight. Your knees are never hyperextended back. Tuck your tailbone and inhale, grow long through your body. Feel your strength in your core. Magnetize the back of your neck to the wall behind you. Your palms should be facing outwards so that you can rotate the head of your arm bones back, opening up your chest and strengthening your back body. Strengthen your core and begin to sit your hips down. Bring your arms up like goalposts, palms in towards each other. See if you can twist your pinkies back towards the back of the room, opening up your chest even a little bit more. This is your goddess pose. Feel the strength in your core, in your legs, in your back, in your arms, even in your neck. Imagine that invisible string pulling up through the crown of your head, helping you grow long. Feel the strength in your legs. Maybe lift your toes for a second so you can really feel the arches of your feet and even more muscles in your legs. It's okay if you have a little wobble. 2 more breaths here. Make sure your tailbone is down, pointed to the earth. Inhale, grow long. Reach your arms up and exhale, hands through heart center. Wow, awesome, guys. Just breathe here for a moment with your hands in heart center. Just gonna check our time. Oop. Tough class today. We're really calling on our inner strength. You can come to a seated position on your mat. Lie onto your back. I'm going to make sure this is pointed at me. Okay. And just bend your knees. You can bring your feet as wide as your mat. Tent your knees in towards each other. And just windshield wiper your feet from side to side. Your knees, I'm sorry. Keeping your feet where they are. The next time your knees are on the left side, let them drop. Bring your arms to a T position or goalpost set alongside you and look towards your right. You're in a supine twist. We're just giving our obliques a little bit of a stretch, a bit of a rest. And twists also allow for us to detox. Breathe into this pose. See how your breath can invite softness. Inhale to lift your knees up. And exhale, drop them to the right side and look towards your left. Breathe here. Each side has its own experience. Every side is different. Yoga helps us unify and unite. Even if they seem so different now, know that with all the loving attention that you give your body, you help it unify with itself and create balance. Imagine inflating your kidneys with air. drawing out all the toxins from your kidneys. Inhale your knees up to center. Bring your knees in towards your belly. You can grab your knees or your shins and just rock from side to side. Inflate your back with your air and give your kidneys a little massage here. Give your low back a massage. You can let your feet come to the earth. Bring them about hip width apart. Tuck your shoulder blades just a little bit more behind you, bringing them together and opening up your chest. Bring the nape of your neck to the ground, lowering the curve in your neck and creating a slight tuck in your chin. With your shoulders onto your back, make sure your fingers are pointed towards your heels. Bring your heels just a little bit closer to your glutes maybe. Inhale, exhale. The next time you inhale, press your hips up, activate your core, your back, and lift into your bridge pose. From your knees to your chest, you should be in one line. This is a slight inversion. It helps with your circulation. Activate the strength in your core here and feel yourself sturdy like a bridge. Use the strength in your shoulders rooting into the earth to support you. 3 breaths here. See if you can slow your breathing down and really draw it into every cell of your body. Draw the energy of the earth graciously through your being and see how your breath and that support and strength gives you power and energy. Exhale, you can drop your hips slowly to the earth. Bring your knees back in towards your belly. Grab your knees or your shins and rock from side to side. Deep breaths, inflate your core, and let the earth massage you. You can extend your legs. Have your feet wider than hip width apart. Let your feet fall to the sides of the room. Your shoulders are slightly tucked onto your back, allowing your palms to flip open. Draw your neck towards the earth, lowering that curve in your neck and aligning your neck with the rest of your spine. Maybe even scooch your tailbone down a little bit so you can lower the curve in your lower back. See how that allows you to flip your feet even more open. This is your Shavasana or corpse pose. Can you let the earth hold you here? Can you give yourself permission not to think about what you're going to do next? Not to worry about the future or the past? Can you give yourself permission to be right here, right now, and just feel what it feels like to be you presently? next few minutes, if thoughts come up, I want you to watch them go by and really pay attention to your gaze as the observer. You don't need to own any of your thoughts. Sometimes our brains just like to think. We get to choose what we believe and what we identify with. So just for right now, can you just be the observer? Don't make it wrong to have thoughts right now. Don't make it wrong to have anything, any tension, or any, questions going through your body. Just allow everything that is to be and watch it. Bring your feet together and bring your hands together overhead. Give yourself a stretch. Roll over onto your right side. Use your bicep as a pillow. When we lay on our right side, we give our heart a little bit of a rest. When we lay on our left side, we honor our digestion. So right now, can you just give your heart a little bit of a rest? Have a moment of gratitude for your heart that always beats for you, that loves for you, that carries you through this life. Can you honor your heart and know when you need to give yourself a little bit of a rest? Sometimes it takes strength in life to stop. Press into your hands and come up to a seated position. comfortably on your mat. Remembering to engage our core lovingly, holding our bodies. Bring your hands to heart center, engaging your shoulders on your back so we can open our chest and our hearts up. Bow into your hearts and give yourself a thank you for taking time to practice coming together in community to learn how to come together with yourself. The light and shadow in me bows to and acknowledges the light and shadow in each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming today. I hope you had a beautiful Sunday morning, and I hope you